Dude, I think it was totally calculated. I don't know about you. I mean,
by Epic.
there's some weird. I mean, it's to be said. There's some probable thought that's probably gone in. There's a couple things that lead me in that direction.
What do you mean?
You've got the anti-monopoly thing going on in the EU against Apple. So they're kind of like weak. They're fighting this war on that front right now. They take 30% of every purchase that goes through the App Store, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about like Fortnite here. We're talking about a game that just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I may have dabbled, but I'm not big into it. But I know some people who may have spent a little bit of money on this game.
No, I get it. Yeah, no, I get it.
And so you have this opportunity to potentially break free from something where you may not necessarily even need their platform. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's short game anyway. They can just revert the changes they made, and then technically Apple's supposed to re-accept their program, no problem, which is real interesting. Like, oh yeah, as long as you don't accept outside payment, we'll definitely accept which is terrible looking for Apple, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll let you continue, and I'll go in on my piece about the whole thing.
Well, it's not going to hurt Epic short term. This is totally short term. See, the other thing that really kind of gets me thinking this is calculated and on purpose, they had commercials ready, clowning on Apple, like instantly, and the lawsuit dropped the second it was pulled from the App Store. Like, they were waiting with the paperwork done. And I don't know if you know about legal paperwork when it comes to lawsuits against corporations via other corporations, but we're talking about a little bit of time goes into preparing those documents, and just produce that instantaneously. I mean, unless you're prepared for it.
Yeah, that is interesting. So just even getting away from the whole EU thing, we're talking about Apple pulling Fortnite from their store. Well,
Google's already followed suit.
Yeah, it's like, doesn't Apple hold the right to do that? Like, it's
part of the agreement, but there's an argument that agreement has now gone from a situation which gave them control and a few other things that are no longer something that may be an issue on the App Store. Basically, it's turned into a monopoly where you just cannot publish on that platform unless it's just, I don't know. It's something. It's not a free marketplace, I guess, and I guess people don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not. If even Google's not necessarily a free marketplace, but it's a lot more free than the Apple Store. The Apple Store has always been very, very controlled, and it's just an ulterior product, right? I mean, like I said, Apple doesn't have to bend to Epic at all.
No, and if they do, it looks really bad. It makes them look bad. But on the flip side,
do you really think like dropping Fortnite, a dying game that nobody cares about, is going to end Apple, dude? Like, it's not
no, I don't think it is at all. But their intention becomes obvious.
I guess, but hasn't it always been obvious?
They've said one thing and done others a few times. They've maintained what they've said a few times. At this point right now, because of the political stance that they're at, you do realize Fortnite's offering 20% off everything forever right now.
Because of that Apple thing?
Because they're no longer being hosted on either platform.
Well, I think they needed to do that in order to survive, man. They can't afford to pay bills, so they got to stop paying taxes.
Maybe, but at the same time too, it's huge political motion. It's huge marketing motion. It's a great timing.
It's very interesting.
It's calculated.
It's very interesting because my first reaction to the whole story is, well, Epic's dumb, and there is the final nail in the coffin of their company. But I am the only person I can find who has this point of view.
Isn't that interesting?
Don't get it.
I think it's just because, how do you fight against a company like Apple?
You don't.
You either accept how it is, well, they're the biggest company in the world.
Epic's going under,
right.
Sorry.
Right. But how do you fight against a company like Apple? And so now you have an underdog story that you've created. You've put your product back in front of the world again. It's an interesting move. It's a Hail Mary.
Oh, that's a total Fortnite marketing. You know what? That's true. That is 100% what a Fortnite marketing move is, isn't it? Getting themselves in the public eye.
Yeah. Easy. They just put themselves in front of everybody by getting removed.
It's just weird because it's like they are abandoning their mobile market, kind of.
Maybe it wasn't producing as much as it was costing to maintain.
And I think that's where I'm at. I think Epic is counting their last pennies and needed something. They need to stop paying.
I wish we could be a fly on that wall, man. But all we can do is look at what's going on and just try to figure it out. And like you said, man, your initial reaction was stupid Epic. And my initial reaction was brilliant Epic.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the fact that you...
And I don't think either of us are wrong.
Maybe that is the truth, right? Maybe it's definitely very interesting to think about.
I'm impressed because we're talking about it. So they have accomplished something.
Yeah, and that's exactly that, right? And I
haven't thought about Fortnite for a year.
I haven't either. And to dive more into it, what's going on with the EU? I don't even know anything about that.
They're currently in litigation against Apple with some things about monopolization of the App Store.
But it's their store.
It is, but you
can't have a monopoly like within your own business. It doesn't make sense.
Well, apparently you can't in the EU. So anyway, they're arguing about that, and so it just seems very calculated. It seems very much something that I personally am very impressed with their attempt to try to pull this one out. And in the end, I think they may have generated enough marketing to maybe pull this off, especially now that they're outside of ecosystems. Sort of their argument is simply that Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, all these companies have outside payment processes outside of the App Store, yet we're not allowed to.
Okay, now we're talking. I didn't know any of that. So,
I'm sorry I didn't bring. I forget that you actually haven't been digging like I have.
This is why we do this.
Right.
So what? So nobody's saying this, but Netflix, Hulu, all those streaming apps, they don't have to pay that 30% on Apple?
I have no idea what their deal is. I just know that their payment system exists outside of the App Store ecosystem. You buy your Netflix subscription through a website that is not through your automatically charged through the app. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to piece it together now. So they want to be able to pay, be able to use Google Pay on their iPhone. If they wanted that choice. They don't want everything to go through Apple Pay anymore. That makes sense with the monopolization route then. But again, it's your choice to buy an iPhone, isn't it?
It is. But the argument, too, is that you are eliminating competition on your platform specifically, based on certain criteria that isn't clear. So then, therefore, it's not a market.
Yeah, and I guess that's exactly what they're doing, right? Because I can get iTunes and Apple Store. I can get all that stuff on my Android and my PC, but I can't get the Microsoft Store or Google Play on an iPhone. I mean, I could. Let's be honest. I mean, I could, but
it's all technically possible. But it's the idea is these cloud platforms are being created. iPhone is excluding certain cloud platforms now based on security, whatever they want to claim it is. Their marketing and PR department's all in charge of that, as far as I'm concerned. But there's a lot going on that is business and marketing, and a lot that's going on that quote unquote relates to security. Apple will always stand on the fact that their users' privacy and security is number one. That terrifies me always, because it's always the guy championing something that secretly is breaking it behind your back. But anyway.
Absolutely.
That's been Apple's line. And they've been fighting against certain things, which makes me believe that they do have some of that in mind. But, I mean, you have to trust somebody with your information in this day and age if you want technology.
Yeah.
Now, you can limit the information you put out there, but you have to trust somebody with what you have to put out there.
Now, you mentioned something that jogged my memory that's pretty interesting, and I'm doing a quick little Google search before I even bring it up.
Sure.
Tencent is being TikTok, right? And Tencent is owned by Tencent, and Tencent is being maybe banned. TikTok is definitely banned, but now they're talking about banning Tencent altogether, right? Well, guess what Tencent owns right now? Epic Games. Epic Games.
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to put the whole picture together unless you step really far back. But if you step too far back, man, you start making these weird connections because all this stuff is happening all at the same time. Yeah, I'm sure that has everything to do with it. And bro, there's a lot more going on than just business and politics, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, you're right. Clearly. I wonder if this was to get ahead of, like, say Fortnite was banned. I wonder if this is to get ahead of all that and get out of the app stores, in quotes, on their own terms, and to get a hold somewhere else before they ban.
So now we have an entire business and political agenda that was decided beforehand to attack the big business during a time when they're busy fighting another front altogether. Isn't that interesting?
So interesting. And I wonder...
Anyway, I think it was brilliant. It's going to be taught in Marketing 101.
You think so? You think it's going to go down in history, this whole...
I think this thing? One will. This one is pretty smart marketing for a company, period. The timing, everything, it was executed perfectly. It elevated the brand name and the product right into the world's eye. And they were able to completely remove themselves from a 30% tax and basically reduce the cost to the player and themselves by 20% and still make 10% more. That's insane, if you ask me.
That's some real high level thinking if that's what they did. That's like some really, really high level thinking. But I guess you would expect that from a company that big.
You would hope that a company that big would do that.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't expect it from Epic themselves, because they've always been kind of weird, and they never seemed like they were that smart anyway.
Well, I think when you become huge and you get some money and you hire the right people and put them where they need to be, you can start creating a lot more wealth where you've been letting a lot slip through your fingers.
And what do you think the outcome is going to be? Like, this is where we're at now, is just Fortnite is pulled from Apple and everybody's screaming their heads off. What do you think the outcome is going to be? Like a week from now, a couple of weeks from now, a year from now?
Really, everybody will talk about Fortnite. People will be playing Fortnite, and then it'll become us versus them. It'll become big business versus the small gamer. This is going to be something that they can kind of just squeeze for a while. And if the economy does end up starting to ban these different platforms, they've positioned themselves to make us look terrible.
You think you think Epic Games... Come on, Thought, come back to me. I don't know. I guess I don't know how to say it. So, do you think that this is going to bring the player base back? I guess is the easiest way to ask it. Like, do you, in the end, do you think this is going to help? Fortnite?
I think they've got a good grasp on what their player base is, where it exists, where they can trim the fat, where they need to grow. I think they have a great idea, and I think this move, calculated and everything, is all just a business cost. I think they have a solid player base that will love this because they get what they want cheaper. It will bring old players back that forgot about Fortnite. I don't know that it'll bring in new players. There's so many different options. And that's the beauty of a marketplace, which is what they're fighting for.
It's just crazy to think that something like this would, like maybe bring back those pro players. I mean, say a week ago before all this was announced, you Google Fortnite and the only information you're going to find about it is that everybody left, nobody likes it anymore, and that it's a dead game. But now, like, I'm very interested to see if it does get picked up as an underdog, if they can really put themselves in that position in the public eye and, like, get a player base back out of that.
And there may have always been a die-hard player base that exists, and there always has been, games like World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, and there's other RPGs that have existed purely on the backs of a very small population. Bro, I think this right here was a bunch of free press for trimming fat. And from a marketing perspective alone, and I can't talk about political insinuations, but from a marketing perspective alone, this thing is killer. Even if it's only for a week and they're making 10% more per sale for a week. Oh my goodness. And Apple's upset about losing that.
Yeah, I guess I don't even mind you, like, repeating that because it is such a, like, 10% more profit just for nothing is insane.
I mean, players are getting 20% more value. That's crazy to think about. You doubled the value and you increase your take home, your net.
What was that?
And you increased the value for the player and you decreased your cost.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like, I mean, as a player, I guess that is really, really cool. I guess it is a good time to be a Fortnite player. I just don't know who's, like, nobody I follow plays it anymore, and it's very weird. And maybe, I guess it's the perfect time. Oh man, I was just about to say, like, I feel like the very last of the Fortnite YouTubers switched over to Fall Guys, like, last week, and this happened this week. So that's
look at that,
right? Yeah.
They went, oh, we're losing our base. We need to do something, and we need to make it drastic, powerful. What if we went this direction? Oh, that's heavy. What do you guys think? I don't know. Well, it's perfect. What are you talking about? We're going to look like idiots. Just do it.
All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Still there?
Yep, I'm here, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, I gotta cut it short, it sucks.
It is all good.
Literally 10 minutes left, but it's all right. The baby woke up like screaming and like shaking and like actually crying. I don't know what the hell he just dreamed about, but
probably a bad dream. You know how those are.
Mm-hmm. But I'll hit you up a little later.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Take care of your family. It was good talking to you, bro.
All right, man. Peace.